everybody, and thank you for coming to watch this video. If you already know who I am and you're just coming back to watch another video, hey, thank you so much. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Mary, and sharing stories like this is part of what I do on this channel. I'm also into business, property, so I share things like that I've learned, and I also share things I've gained from my spiritual relationship with God and that whole journey. So this channel is all about sharing and learning as well. So I like to talk to people so where I can also learn and improve in all those areas. So as you see from the title, this video is all about when I was recently hospitalised. It's the end of the year, 2021. I'll explain the reasons why, what happened, but I think the key things are the takeaways from that, things that I've learned from that moment. This was probably today the most traumatic thing that I've ever had to deal with, and let me explain. The whole thing started off as I caught COVID. Now, November last year was such a challenging time. It seemed like everything happened all at once, and I'm not surprised knowing that the year we was moving into. In hindsight, I'm not surprised, but it seemed like everything happened that time. I had a car crash on the way to doing administration at the church I was in, and I spent ages, almost years preparing for that particular one. So I had a car crash whilst in traffic, so it's not like I was doing something stupid. I was literally just stationary and the car smashed in the back of me. I had quite a few engagements, quite a few singing engagements, so I had various things to go to, and some televised funerals and things like that. But in between all of that, I caught COVID. Now, I didn't have COVID before, so the first sort of weird symptom that I got was I was coming back from like the televised funeral on a Monday, and I was in the car going back, and it wasn't me driving, I was a passenger in someone's car, and all of a sudden a wave, something hit me. It was almost like as if air sort of came out of me, and I thought I was literally about to faint or die or something in that instant. It was so, like, I've never experienced that ever before. And I couldn't talk to the lady who was driving because, number one, she was putting her music so loud, but I just physically couldn't talk. But I could still think, and I thought, if I'm fainting, I think I had a drink in my hand. I thought, just drink the drink, that sugar should kind of wake you up. And I used my finger to try and put down the window. So I was able to do that and drink the water, and it stabilized me for a bit. I was still wavy, but I think I was quite shocked that that had happened. I did, because it looked like it came out from nowhere, if that makes sense. It literally looked like it came out from nowhere. And talking about COVID, during that sort of weekend before, I was having headaches, and I wasn't sure whether it was from the crash or what it kind of was. We're still got to sort that out, but it was just a mixture of all sorts of things happened at the same time. But that sort of a loss of oxygen and that feeling, it so took me by surprise. I didn't know what to do. I just kept telling her, just get to my sister's house, get to my sister's house. And she kept saying, oh, is it because you're not driving, you're getting car sick? And I couldn't even think to say, no, like, I got to my sister's house, and she was like, oh, what happened there? And I was like, I don't know. I explained to her what happened. I said, I don't think I should go home. Now, good thing is my sister lives at about 5 minutes drive away from me. So, and I stayed at her house all the time, so it was okay. So I stayed at her house, and I thought, fine, I'll be okay. And it didn't happen again. So that was the first instance that something out of the ordinary happened. And I've never been hospitalised before. I've never been, I think I've been to hospital. I just haven't been to hospital. So so that was all weird to me anyway. So I kind of left it, and I thought, oh, maybe, I don't know, it's kind of to put it at the back of my mind. But when I woke up my sister's house, I feel a lot better, but I started to feel like something was coming on as well. So I thought, oh, maybe it must be that. And as the day kind of started what's the day started going ahead, I thought, oh, I'm not well. I'm not well. So the next day, I was full on with fever and everything, and I did a COVID test, and it came out positive. I was positive with COVID. So actually, in that, I was kind of okay. I had lots of like sweats. Sorry, my stomach's. I had lots of sweats, like the fever sweats and things, and I kind of thought that's how it is. But obviously isolation happens, and you can't stay on myself. But I thought just get on with it. And my friends were super sweet. They sent me things like um, essential oils, bath this, vitamin D spray this, all the good things just to kind of keep me going. I thought, yeah, I'll be fine and I'll be okay. Um, but and oh yeah, I must say, even when I had COVID, I the funny thing is I had the opposite of what everyone normally has. So I think you lose your sense of smell and taste, but mine went the other way around. The other way around, as in my sense of smell went through the roof. I could smell everything. I tell people I could smell their body odor, their lotion, their cream, their perfume, almost every part of what people put on them. I could smell even outside. Um, when you'd go outside, I can smell every part of the air, the tree. People's like when people had like spat on the ground, everything. Like I didn't like it in the slightest, and I remember thinking, this is not. I don't like this. It's superpower, or whatever this is. I don't like. When I started to be more concerned was when I did cough, I would cough blood. So I thought, this isn't right. So I spoke to a couple of people. They're like, "Oh, it's just probably from coughing your burst capillaries or something." I was like, "Nah, this isn't normal." And I knew something was different. And I can hear. And if people who would understand what I mean, when you have a relationship with God, you can hear this, but God telling you this is a chest infection. This isn't right. And I was trying to tell people on the phone who were medically trained and things, I think I have a chest infection, and they were like, and people said, no, this kind of thing happens. I was like, no, I know I know I don't have COVID. I know there's something else. So I got on to I was able to speak to obviously she can't leave the house, and I thought, I'm not going anywhere with this situation. But I was able to get on the phone get on a video call on an app that we have here in the UK. It's called Livy, and it allows you to speak to GP. And it was actually my GP who recommended that. So when I because they had no appointments. So when I eventually got hold of the doctor on Livy, I explained to her, I said, look, I feel fine in myself, but this whole chest area doesn't feel right. There's something else. And I told her I'm coughing up blood, and something's happening to me. And she said, it looks like you have a chest infection. I'm going to prescribe you with antibiotics. So she said to me, can you get someone to pick you up? I said, yes, I can get my sister to pick up for me and drop it at the house. So she did that, and it also caused for 5 days. So I started taking it, and I think the first time I took the antibiotics, I started feeling like something was happening across my chest here, but the issue was still remaining the same. I took COVID tests, and it was inconclusive, but I knew it. I didn't have it. I knew COVID had passed by this point. So I go to my sister's house now, and even though we're on day 3 of taking my antibiotics, the breathing is becoming very, very difficult. So I took a walk. I thought, go and do a walk. They said, do walks. So I started doing walks, but I noticed that breathing was becoming increasingly difficult. So I'm at my sister's house now, and the thing that happened to me the first time, where like the oxygen like left my body, and I was fainting, it happened again. So my sister so I'm like trying to go to her roof, like I feel like I'm fainting, and she starts flashing water at me, going, right, stay, trying to focus me. I get what she was trying to do, because obviously she's been used to this people fainting and stuff in her field of work. But I knew it wasn't just me fainting because a loss of sugar or something. I literally felt like, I don't know why I'm smiling. I think I don't know why I'm smiling, but because it was actually quite serious, because I actually felt like something else was happening, that this isn't fainting for sugar levels or something. Something ain't right. So I told her after, you need to call the ambulance. Call the ambulance. So she called the ambulance. The ambulance came to the house about 40 minutes later. And by this point, I was a mess. I couldn't even, I couldn't literally do nothing like proper myself. I couldn't pick things up. I couldn't even sleeping. From that time, um, I couldn't really sleep. I don't know. I think in hindsight, I was scared because if I did kind of doze off, I'll wake up like fighting for breath. So I'll probably sleep every sort of half hour, very, very not consistent at all. And everyone kept saying you have to sleep. That's probably why you're drained and tired, and this is all that. But I thought something ain't right. So anyway, the ambulance come to the house. They check all my stats and stuff, and they're like, which is really odd because you are really okay. Like this is your sugar levels, this and that. Because even at this point, I was thinking, Mary, what are you doing? Like, what have you done? Like, and to be fair, I don't even drink because I don't like the taste of that. I mean, I do have a few things every now and then, but I don't do anything. I try and live like a balanced life in terms of what I eat and things like that. I don't always sit in there. I do get up and do. I'd even started going to the gym like the 3 months before, so I am pretty active. I mean, I did used to be a sprinter, so I do know what it needs to be active and to eat right, and I take my capsules, I take my drinks. I only drink water. I don't drink fizzy drinks and that all the time, and maybe at parties and stuff, but I don't do any of those things. So I kept thinking, what, like, what are you doing that is causing this thing? They did all my stats and stuff. I said, we don't know what's happening here, but your heart rate, everything is fine, but you're not. I said, look, we don't know. Maybe that was just a weird thing that's happened. Your stats are okay. Finish. We've got 2 more days now to finish the antibiotics. Finish them. But if anything weird goes on, call us back. So I was kind of a bit settled inside of me, but still, I just, my limbs, everything was tired. I couldn't do much. Getting up was effort. Everything became effort to do. And when my parents found out that they'd called the ambulance and things, immediately they came. My mum came up to spend some time to help my sister. I guess this is when it starts getting a bit difficult for me because at this point, I can't do anything. So my mum is having to literally put food in my mouth, feed me, take me to the bath, have literally shower me because I can't do anything, help me to the toilet because everything, I keep feeling um like I'm what's it called, about to faint. I can barely talk, like I'm losing, like things are losing. And I kept thinking, Mary, just get to the end of the antibiotics, you're okay. I'm trying to push myself, but it was becoming even increasingly difficult. Even overnight, I couldn't. I slept a bit, but not much again. And at this point, I'm starting to throw up, and I'm still coughing up blood in the process. And then so my mom's like, okay, look, this is becoming a bit much. We're going to take you back home to our parents' home. My dad comes pick me up. We'll take you back home so I can literally focus on you, with obviously not the distraction of what's going on ahead. I remember even walking to the car. I threw up in the car. Like it was becoming just too dramatic. Everything was becoming so difficult to do, and I kept thinking, Mary, hold on, holding myself. For what? And the next day, I've been at my parents' house. I got up, and the same thing was happening again with me, sort of fainting and stuff. And I just had to say, Mum, called the ambulance again because this was becoming, and I didn't want to scare my mum, or my pet. I didn't want to scare them so much, but I literally felt like life was slipping away from me. It was just horrible. So the ambulance come. They have to come up the stairs because I can't even stand up at this point, and moving literally to the chair is taking so much out of me. I can't even physically go from here to like there. So they come up the stairs now. They literally get me on a sheet off the bed onto this chair thing, ride me down the stairs. But at this point, no, they, when they come to the room where I'm at, they do all my stats and we explain to them what's happened, and immediately they put oxygen up my nose, and let me tell you, at that moment, I felt like life was great. I think at that moment I thought, like, this is it. This is what I is being taken that I need. This is it, you know. So they put me in the ambulance, blue lights all the way. So they start COVID testing me now, and all my COVID tests come back negative. So when I got in there, it was clear this is not COVID. And in the back of my mind, I kept remembering what I said, that the Spirit of God was ministering to me, and that this is a chest thingy. So I'm in hospital now. They moved me up to it's still emergency, but a different ward. I'm not in A&E anymore. I'm in a ward. It's just myself in the room, and I put my oxygen levels up. It's about, I think it's about 4 or 6 or something at this point. And there I am, and I'm feeling okay. I still, with the oxygen, can't move. Yeah, I still, because I try something to go to the toilet, I can't move. So that begins such a process of having to wear, like, essentially those hospital nappy things. So the way that, because I'm in that room, everything's nice and calm. They're like, oh, hopefully we're going to move you down to another ward. You should be okay now, and hopefully that should see you out. And also by now I've had scans. So they started to do me X-rays to find out what was going on. So they moved me down to a ward, which was the worst of this whole thing. Let me explain. So I come down now, my oxygen level is about 4 or 6 or whatever it is. And I come down thinking, oh, maybe I can go home, maybe something's going to happen, I'm going to be okay. And it was just the beginning of the horrible part of it. And I think it was like that, and I'm just saying my experience. And it was just in that particular ward. Have you ever seen busybodies in your life before? Like, busybodies are people, they can't focus on one thing. I don't know whether they were it was because there wasn't that many people at all. So I don't believe it's to do with the fact that there was too many people and less staff. They might have had to look at over different wards, so that might have been it. But some of them were very, very good. Up until this point, all staff are great. But in this particular ward, this is just my experience, and I'm not even going to name names or that. But all I can say was I was so disappointed, and let's not even go there. Just really disappointed with the behavior of some people there. I honestly think if you don't like people, do not work with people, because this is people's lives that you're playing with here. It got to the point that one lady, she, for I don't know for what reason, she was I have to change my oxygen masks every now and then, and there's one treatment thing they put on. It's called a nebulizer or something that helps basically puts a lot of oxygen into your body at such a concentrated time, but it's got some whether it's salt or something in, or something, maybe not salt, but something in the mixture that really helps with the breathing. So once that takes it off, they immediately put back your oxygen mask or whatever you've got on. So she did that, and she just kind of took it off, and she made a comment like, you're getting too used to it or something, and walks off. So at this point, imagine like two days in now, you've been on oxygen, and she just takes it off. And there's me, everything is connected to those screen things. So you start seeing your oxygen levels going down. It starts alerting all these people. Thank God for one staff who saw me and quickly put the thing back. But then I just felt you feel so helpless, and it's horrible. You feel so helpless, and I don't like that. That experience spiked up my anxiety. Everything starts going crazy from that point forward. My oxygen levels start going down, 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 down. And for those of you who might work in hospital, so they say that you're supposed to be at 90 or above. Right now it's dropping at under 80, like 80, some 86, 80, something, dropping down. This lady comes back now like as if, she doesn't understand why. She starts screaming, oh my god, oh my god, what's happening here? Oh my god. I said, and I'm trying to tell her, just calm down. They're trying to read my my stats again, and trying to move things away from my fingers. Okay, I came into the hospital, and I had gel, or not nail extensions, but gel on my nails. And it's stopping them from reading things. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to can you try my toes? Because obviously I just had nail varnish on my toes. Can you try my toes, see if you can read it? Because this thing is dropping down, and these people are screaming, and everything's going all haywire. So they try my toes, and it does go back up. But at this point now, the head consultants wandered in, and they're trying to get because we're going to have to draw blood from your arteries so we can understand exactly what's going on. That was the worst day. So they get they get my blood from my arteries, and they're like, your oxygen is going down. We're gonna have to send you back into A&E. So part of me was happy because I wanted to go back to where I was in that room by myself anyway, because it was just too overwhelming. And by this point, I was still in a. By the way, they put me in a COVID ward, and I actually heard another doctor arguing outside, going, where are you taking her? Because she hasn't got COVID. She's had 3 tests, and we've checked her blood, everything. She does not have COVID. Where are you taking her?" And they kind of shut the door, so I know what was going on. I wasn't supposed to be in a COVID ward, so they they whack up the oxygen, put a bigger thing on me, and take me up to A&E, like an A&E, but where I was before. And I'm in there at this point. No, another ward. I'm in there where they can give you one-on-one care, and it's not quite intensive care, but I kind of think it's not intensive care. It's just probably before that. So I'm in this ward now, and at this point I'm crying because they want to put something bigger on me, like a bigger oxygen thing, and they try, and I can't breathe anymore. Everything's going through the roof. And at this point, I start to reflect on life. But let me say something. What kind of kept me through this is some key things. Let me just stop at this point. Even though I'm crying and I'm really upset with everything that's going on and seeing all these stats, everything going down, let me tell you the what was actually keeping me going. So before I'd gone into hospital, the pastor of my other church, he had actually messaged my dad and said, "Oh, Mary's gonna come out of hospital." And at this point, I hadn't even gone into hospital. So he knew before I'd gone in that God had told him that I was gonna go into hospital. I was gonna come out. So when that word came to me, I held on to it because I know when God says something, it's true, and you have to believe and you have to hold on to. Also, people who I trust and pray for, the messages that I got back were of the same caliber. I like the prayers of people from the church I go to, my family, friends, that really kept you, like you can feel it. And because I generally do a lot of praying for people and that kind of thing myself, I remember thinking, is this the effect of what you do as well? Like, for the first time, I was experiencing what it's like to be helpless and to be supported by people's prayers. So when people say things like pray for this person, it really does like help. I'm saying now, I could feel the support of people's prayers, especially the ones that came from my nearest and my dearest, that would say, "Look, I know your prayers and your faith is going to get you through this." I know those ones. I held on to them with everything inside of me, and when I could look at my phone, I would look at it and hold on to this whole situation. I remember in my spirit, I let go of things that people had done that said that weren't even true, weren't even real, but it hurt me because that's when you get hurt, when people accuse you of things that you didn't even do. And I remember at that moment when I was in that ward on that bed, I remember thinking, so is this why, God, you got me to forgive everybody? This is why, so that my heart can be pure, and if I die, I go to see you, Lord. And that, if that's what it is, and that. But then I'd look at the messages and I thought, no, Mary, God has said other things, that you need to come out here and you need to share, and you're going to get out of here. So everything, they need to find what was causing this. And in the end, they said, look, this is a bacterial thing. This is not COVID doing this. We know that your lungs are fine. They had to get a lung specialist to find out what treatment plan to put me on, because they needed to know. And the treatment was working, the nebulizers and the oxygen, that was truly working. So I'm grateful for that care. I really, really am. I really, really am. I was able to sleep because peace really came upon me, and I wasn't scared to sleep. And I'm still in that other ward now. And I'd get words like, you can't sing, obviously I think you can't sing in that, but you can sing in your spirit. That would help you sleep, because I couldn't sleep. So in my mind, I'll be singing songs like to God, and singing things and stuff like that, and I'll find myself drifting off to sleep, which was so nice. And I'll wake up in the morning, or wake up because I had all sorts of drips, and I was on all these medications. I was on morphine to stop my morphine, steroids, antibiotics, everything. excuse me, there were actually funny things that happened with other patients that I might do another story time about that, because there was, if you're in the UK, you know Nan from the Kath and Tate show. There was, imagine a posh version of Nan, very very funny but quite scary at the same time. Anyway, what is happening is my oxygen, I'm getting better at breathing now, so my breathing is in the high, is getting really high, but my heart rate is also very high. So they're like, your heart rate, you need to calm down. I said, I'm really scared, you know, I really am scared. One thing about your faith is, when you're in the hospital and you're in wards like that, I've saw everybody who, in the different religions, each praying to their God to get them out of there. Every single religion, from the Sikhs, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, all the different kind of, everyone doing their rituals, whatever, just to get them out of there. It was surprising to see people who didn't have none. They were like, get me the F out of here. And so then the main doctor comes and says, your oxygen's getting improving, your heart rate's still weird, but we're going to move you to a quieter ward. And I must say, at this point, I'm actually having quite good dreams. Like, I think when you're so, you start having to think about life, and you're starting to kind of detox things. You assess your life, and so many things you just get rid of. This is like, I'm talking about the mental process and the thinking process, because you know now, actually, I'm okay, things are stabilized, I'm going to be fine, and it gives you a chance to reflect what happened to me. Just say so. At this point, I'm thinking about my life and some things that I feel like I'm doing, or I just don't care no more. I even thought, business this, I'm packing everything in. I'm going to become a nurse. I'm becoming a nurse. I'm going to care for people because of what's going on here. I'm packing it all in. I'm packing everything I'm doing. I don't care. I don't care. And then I think I'm able to start talking now. So I talked to the nurse who was with me, and he was asking me questions, and he was doing it on purpose to try and calm me down, because my heart rate, it's like at 38 going up to 40. I don't know if you know medical, you know what that means. So it's really not good at all. But he's trying to calm me down, and he's asking me what I do, and I'm trying to show him some stuff on YouTube, and I'm trying to show him what I do. And he said something to me that like really kind of squashed my nurse dream. And he said, he was listening to some of my songs, and he said, you know, please don't stop doing what you do, because these things make me cry. I don't know why. And he goes, it's healing in another way. Please, like, don't stop doing this. Not that I even told him I was going to stop, but I'm sure God used him to tell me that, because, like I said, I was going to become Nurse Mary. That nurse said to me, and other nurses have come at this point and said to me, you know, you're going to have use your faith at this time now. You're going to have to fight now. We're giving you all we can give you. You're going to have to fight. So I started doing the exercises and things that they'll say. You have to try and see if you can turn now with all these things on you. Sleep on your front. You're going to have to try and do like practice. You're going to have to do your faith, and your exercise is going to have to, you're going to have to use it. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I'm basically trying to take deep breaths. And remember, you can't really breathe much, and I'm still going to the toilet. Actually, at this point, no, I was still going to the toilet in the bed, so I was going in. So anyway, I moved now to the downstairs wall, which is another part of where I was moved originally before, and it is a lot more calm, and the nurses are fine. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So that day and the next day moving forward, my oxygen gets reduced all the way down, to the point that they turn it off, and I don't even realise through the night, and they monitor me, and everything's fine. And but I said, look, can you just keep that thing in my notes? Just keep this. This was there's different stages of there's masks, and then there's a little thing that goes in your nose, all the big things. And at this point, I just had a little one there. I said, can you kind of just leave it there for a minute, because you're so used to it that it was almost like comfort. I needed it there. So like, why? So I said, just for a few minutes, and I think at my own time I removed it off my face. Sure. They're like, Mary, we've been watching you. Your oxygen's fine. Everything's fine. You're okay to go home. So this is now the 7th of December, and I leave with medication take for a month. That's why I say it's now the 26th of January. So I'm I'm just thankful to God for everyone. I learned so much. I learned about the love of God. I learned about forgiveness. I learned about like things that I want to do now in life. And I told my niece, don't wait to it. You're fighting for your life to make changes. Like, listen to us who've been there and do it now.